Today our topic is on peculiar situations of blast furnaces related to thermal control. I need to again brief on this topic that the parameter of the blast furnace, the fuel rate and the result in terms of silicon or in terms of outgoing gases like eta-CO, even though they remains stable, some cases occur which are not aligned with these outcomes in terms of hot and cold. In the subsequent slide, we are going to uncover those reasons, logics, and science why it happens like that. So, in this slide, as this slide is our lifeline slide, concept comes from this slide, and in this slide we already shown that melting capacity principle has been considered in explaining the hotness and coldness as uh, already pronounced in the introductory slide. So as we can see that melting capacity of the Bosch gas is the most important phenomena which keeps control the thermal condition of the blast furnace, and it is the Bosch gas volume times the Tuer flame minus Tuer melting. So we can say that Tuer melting is around 1400. Liquidus of iron and slag has been considered. So both factors going to pay us in controlling thermal condition of the blast furnace. As this slide shows that while controlling blast furnace thermally, we have two injectants which are very popular. One is PCI and second is oxygen. So these how these two parameter moves into blast furnace, and with operating together or single, how what happens to this melting capacity. uh, this we are going to share in this slide. As all are aware that when we increase PCI, our coke gasification decreases, leads to reduction in melting rate, and this leads to heat up of the furnace. Apart from the lower flame temperature, which is caused by increase in coal injection rate compensated by our oxygen enrichment. This is how we operate the furnaces. And when we increase coal injection rate, coal also contain a lot of hydrogen, around 5% let it be, and it's around 4 to 5%. So when this 5% Bosch gas is with hydrogen, its indirect reduction helps intensify. It gets a lot of, our Bosch gas becomes stronger in taking care of indirect reduction, and this is how there is also grace or dividend or benefit in coke saving occur. Similarly, the increase of the PCI is compensated by the enrichment. As we know, 1% of oxygen enrichment helps in bringing our RAF to 50 degree centigrade. So whenever we inject PCI, increase PCI or increase the coal injection, uh, the drop in flame is compensated by increase in oxygen enrichment. Now three cases are there, and here we see that in all three cases how melting capacity of Bosch gas going to be affected. In the first case we have considered 10 kg per ton hot metal with the PCI alone, and here we see that there is a rise in melting capacity per ton hot metal. In the next case, where 10 kg per ton hot metal PCI with the combination of enrichment, here we see that the melting capacity is much higher. And in the third case, where we coal flow adjusted to a new steady state, here we see there is a moderate increase of melting capacity. This slide discussion is essential because our basis of discussion in the entire presentation is with respect to melting capacity. And here for the people, it is easier to understand two simple cases taken before PCI and after PCI, and here we conclude with that after PCI, when we increase PCI, there is a subsequent increase in total energy input. So that has been compared. Now here is one real case of the furnace has been considered, where thermal condition goes down. Now once the thermal condition goes down and metal temperature dropping, operator has a very less time to trigger its action in terms of thermal upliftment by increasing PCI, and whatever action is there we have narrated. So for such type of situation, chill whenever triggered, it gives a signal of bringing hot metal temperature much down, and as in this slide is already mentioned 1440, and here three actions immediately has to taken without any lapses of time, because this is already a delayed, and if we delayed further, then furnace will be out of control, and it costs a lot if furnace chill. Hence the first and foremost case that is needed to considered at a first step is to reduce your blast volume by 15 kg normal meter cube per hour. The subsequent followed by increase in coal injection by 20 kg per ton hot metal, and as we already discussed with reference to melting capacity, so once we increase coal rate there will be drop in flame, and this drop in flame is to compensated by increase in oxygen in order to maintain flame stable. So this is what is the step 1, 2, 3, and result we can see that your flame remains steady, production drop as we have increased the coal rate. So now a heat is available, heat reserve is available for lesser metal, so furnace started heating, and direct reduction also drop. So we can say that the logic of this 3 point, that when we reduce, then we have got a much better gas solid contact, then we have got a more melting energy, and we have got a more hydrogen and carbon monoxide to take care of indirect reduction. Here we need to discuss now a case now with the same similar setup of the furnace. Once we take action, furnace started heating up, and once it started heating, at a point of time operator feel now it is a time to cut the coal, because now my furnace is getting more heated. So here what happens that this situation we want to discuss, especially such type of situation happens when furnace coming from hot to cold, hot to cold. Now our condition is furnace is excessively hot, now I have to bring the furnace bit, I have to cool down. So in this situation, many times happens that oxygen remains same as in this case it is remains same 7%, and we curtail our coal rate from 215 to 180. So once such situation occur, we try to bring the thermal condition down, but result becomes opposite. And here we see that furnace becomes hot. So in order to uncover that why it happens, we discuss in this way that when we reduce coal injection, at that time our hydrogen also um, reduces, and this consequently brings down the indirect load variation in our indirect reduction zone. And at the same time, when we curtail the coal rate, our melting capacity, that energy feeding also increases, because once we bring down the coal rate and we could not able to substantiate with a stable flame temperature because we kept oxygen 7% still, so this heat become excessive, and this um, keep the furnace more hotter. Now coming to one more important aspects where also the thermal condition remains stable and steady is a kinetic energy. So as we all aware that stable kinetic energy also very important, which keeps the raceway, the utilization and the consistency of silicon stable. This is one example taken where the kinetic energy increases from 2800 to 4100 by plugging one or two tuyeres. Number one. Number two, such type of furnaces, garning is being done to have a even profile of the burden. And the third is the better two-year energy control. So all such situation, a correct kinetic energy, garning to blanketing to cover our unnecessary heat wall losses, and better heat balance, and third, by better two-year energy control. So all these can derive a surprising result of achieving like coke rate 223, PCI 208, and a stable operation of 1.9 ton per meter cube per day. So we can conclude with the final takeaway is the melting capacity of the gas is the key control variable. PCI boosts melting capacity. Over injection of oxygen without PCI adjust may overheat the furnace that we have already discussed. Two-air kinetic energy is crucial for maintaining a smooth and efficient operation. And if we focus on all these factors, definitely it will help in meeting the stability of the furnace.